Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all doing well. As you can see from today's title, I will be showing you what I believe is a capsule makeup collection. A collection that you need that will allow you to create any look and just like the fundamentals of makeup. And I've got all my products here. This looks like a lot, but I'll explain why there's so much in the video. But this is ultimately like everything I would need to create every kind of look and what I would need to just like exist, because you know I have a lot of makeup but I don't need all of it. This is like everything I actually need to progress with my life, so I'll be talking you through everything and like the thoughts behind everything I have here. So yeah, let's just get right into this. Okay, so to kick things off in a routine, we need our setters and our foundations. In our makeup, you know, the products that really set everything, make everything look put together. So I have 3 types of products you need in your routine. One being a primer. Of course, you need a good base, not only your skincare, but you need like a makeup product that your makeup can grip onto so nothing moves, everything looks flawless. You need a setting spray and you need a powder. Now, with your primer, I would say there are so many primers out there. Firstly, there's always a radiant one, a blurring one, a correcting. There's like so many types. So I would say you need to find the one type that is like your priority. For me, it is probably blurring, because right now I have quite a concern for my pores, and that's always kind of like my main goal, is to create like a, you know, like airbrushed kind of vibe. So a blurring primer would be my go-to, and this Laura Mercier blurring canvas primer would be the one I would bring into my capsule collection, because it's ultimately the one that I would use in every type of look, if that makes sense. So you see, if you use a radiant one, that's more for like everyday kind of daytime, not really what you want to use at night, whereas this is like one that I would use in any situation, so that's why it's in this capsule collection. The setting spray, of course, you need a good setting spray. You need one that's gonna make your makeup last. You need one that is like worth the price, worth the hype, and that's quite difficult with setting sprays because they usually just make your face wet. But this Rare Beauty is always going to be one of my favourites, so that has to be in my capsule collection. And then with setting powders, you need one that is, I would say personally, a translucent one if possible, because that way you can use it all over your face or just under your eyes, so you've got range. And I've always loved this Bare Minerals Mineral Veil. It's really super light and it just sets everything without drying my eyes, so that would also be in my capsule collection. And before I go any further into this video, this is all just like a foundation. You can of course like build up on it. If you want to use a brightening setting powder as well, have that in your collection, feel free, but this is just what I think ultimately you need in your routine or in your collection to say, yeah, I'm set, I can do anything with this makeup. Then for foundations, I believe you need 2 types of foundations in your routine. You need a full coverage and you need a skin tint or lightweight foundation. This NARS one is the soft matte one, which creates a matte kind of finish, which still looks very natural, but this is way more full coverage than the Fenty Beauty skin tint. Both of these actually have a very similar finish. They're both very skin-like matte kind of finishes. I was gonna go for a more dewy full coverage finish, but I just feel like a soft matte is always the best option because it kind of is a good in-between. But again, go with a foundation that you know you like the finish of. Don't go for a matte and a dewy, because me personally, I will never do a full matte because my skin will just not look good. So always choose a finish what you think is best. So if you like dewy finishes, then choose a dewy lightweight and a dewy full coverage, if that makes sense. Same thing for concealers. I believe having a full coverage concealer and a lightweight concealer is best, because you know there's different moods. Sometimes you want to go out at night and you want fuller coverage, or you want to go out during the day and you need something lighter. So I think having 2 options is amazing. This Rare Beauty is a good everyday and full coverage at the same time. I know a lot of people use this every day. Me personally, I do sometimes, but it's mostly a nighttime one for me because it is quite like 2D. If you saw my concealer video, you would know what I'm talking about, the 2D kind of look. But this Charlotte Tilbury one as well, the Retoucher, is a great everyday if you don't want to go as full coverage. This is one I've been using every single day I wear makeup in the day. But yeah, these two are very different, and I think that is a good thing in a makeup routine, so you can do both really. Now for bronzers, I would say it's great to have a cream and a powder, because usually what I do if I'm like being really extra is I go in with the cream first and then set it with the powder, and that's actually what a lot of people do. This Chanel one is one of my favorites. It's such a natural bronze and it's really close to my natural skin tone, so it just looks like the perfect sun-kissed vibe. And then I have this Milani more shimmery kind of bronzer, which is the powder, and I think having a matte and a shimmer is also a good option. So you know, when you're going for different kind of looks, that range is also very important. So yeah, I'd always recommend a cream and a powder, not really so much a liquid. Now for blush, I wouldn't buy a powder necessarily because I really prefer the finish of a cream and a liquid. This Rare Beauty one is so pigmented, it's just like groundbreaking. Honestly, like the pigment is so crazy. And this Pixie On The Glow blush is also very beautiful. These two shades are very, very different, and there's a reason for that, because you know, not every day you want to wear bright pink blush, not every day you want to wear a like mute red orangey kind of blush. So having two options is great. Also, the formula of these two are very different. This is so sheer, like this is perfect for everyday makeup, no makeup. This is more full coverage again. So again, there's just that contrast of being able to do both. You don't have to choose these shades, by the way guys, but I would say choosing a darker shade and a lighter shade is always a great idea, because you know, so you have options. But then for highlighter, I would choose a liquid, because I feel like for a nighttime look, that always looks best. It looks more from within the skin rather than a powder. And also a balm highlighter is crucial, I think, in a makeup collection, because for those everyday looks, they just look so, it just looks so effortless and from within. It's one of my favorite steps in a natural makeup look. So yeah, this Ciate one, which I've recently just fallen in love with, is the Dewy Stick, but it's literally like an oil kind of texture, and it's just so gorgeous. This Charlotte Tilbury Glowgasm is a classic. But then guys, what I would say is, if you don't want to spend so much money on like individual colors and like formulas, and you know, like you're a powder girl, so you'll just use powders, what I would say is you should buy a palette. A face palette is always a great bet, because you get a blush, a highlighter, sometimes a contour or bronzer color too. So I feel like those can probably be more worth your money, so I would highly recommend those. These are my two favorites, these two right here. This NARS palette is the High Profile palette. The shades in this palette are so gorgeous. There's like a highlight palette, and these are like blushes. These are quite dark as well, but they're also blushes, but you can kind of use them as bronzer. But you can see that this is a great option if you want range, and you know, these are quite wet actually. You can make them like dewy and kind of creamy actually. So yeah, this is a great option for blushes. And also NARS always do like fantastic face palettes. Their eyeshadow palettes are also one of my favorites. But anyway, the next palette that I always go for, like if I'm traveling, it's always the one I go for. Even though it's a powder, I absolutely love the finish of it. It's so natural. I've never seen a powder perform like this. It's the Hourglass Ambiance, I don't know how to say that word, palette, but it looks like this, and it's got, you can see like a bronzy kind of section, a blush, and then a huge highlighter brick. And these shades and these shimmers are so beautiful on the skin. You can see this one provides more of a like united, cohesive kind of vibe, whereas the other one is more for range, so you have lots of options for color. So yeah guys, these are like another option if you don't want to go out and individually pick a color. If you're more open to trying, or you want to be more creative, base palettes are always a good option, and always good for your money as well. Now for your eyes, you've got these 5. I would say it is always a great idea to have a black liner. Even if you don't use it, it's just something that I think you need in your collection, because who knows, like there might be the one time you want to experiment and you fall in love with it. Like that's what happened to me. I never used my black liner, then one day I was just like, I'm just gonna use it, and then I saw like, damn, this is actually a vibe, and then I started using it more. See, I think it's always a great option. This NARS one is so good. The high pigment long wear eyeliners, they're so like sturdy, they really stay in place and they don't move, and they just are really pigmented, so I really love them. And also having a brown one is always a good option for a more natural look. For those of you that watch my videos, you would know that I love a brown eyeliner, so I would always recommend having one in your collection. This is actually an eyebrow pencil that I use as a brown liner. It's the Gucci eyebrow pencil, but any brown liner will do. There's no like specific one. As long as it's pigmented and it doesn't smudge and move during the day, then it's all good to go. Then for eyebrows, of course, a pencil and a gel. These Benefit ones are always gonna be my go-tos. I feel like Benefit has got the eyebrow game on lock. It's always like the thing I go for them, eyebrow products. So yeah, this 24-hour brow setter by Benefit has been in my collection for years now, and I'm gonna keep buying it until I find something that's better. And this Precisely My Brow is one of the finest tips. You can see how much I use it. I've lost like caps, the writing's not even on the products anymore. It's literally like my go-to eyebrow products, and I don't really care about my eyebrows that much these days, but I think it's always a great idea to have either a pen or pencil in your collection, because you know, you might want to do your eyebrows one day. It's not about what you want to do right now, it's about what you will probably do in the future. It's good to have just in case, you know, but if you genuinely know you won't use it, then don't buy it. And then for mascara, I would say one is good enough, and you just need to find one that is a good multi-purpose mascara, one that lengthens, volumizes, everything in one. And this Rare Beauty one is such a good one for that. It doesn't clump, it doesn't like look crazy, it genuinely lengthens, volumizes everything. So I think a good all-in-one mascara is this Rare Beauty one. Oh yes, I forgot, a black liquid liner is crucial in your collection, because you just never know. Again, it's just something that you need to have. Like, it's not something you need to have like loads of. You don't need like a red one, a white one, just a black one. A simple black one is all you need in case you do want to do a liner. You know, when you wear lashes and you need to do like a little flick or something, just something going on, you just need it there. And this Lancome Ultra Precise Waterproof Liner is one I've recently discovered. It is so good. Like, it's so good at creating those fine lines that flick. The precision is all there, and the black is black. So that is just like a checklist of what you need. You need one that has a fine tip and is really black and is waterproof, preferably, so it doesn't move. So yeah, a black liner liquid is also fundamental. For eyeshadows, again, a palette is always the best option. So you have a range. I would say a neutral palette and a bright palette is all you need. I personally never really do eyeshadows, but I still have them there in case that one day I want to go for a green eye look, then it's there, so I don't have to go out and buy it, you know. And this Ciate one, I Am a Woman, What's Your Superpower? I don't think that's what the palette's called. Maybe, I don't know. It's got so many shades. You can see the shades this has in it. It's got a lot of like shimmers, mattes, transition shades, all of that. I know a lot of people use Morphe. I used to use Morphe, and I would say Morphe are great for range. I don't really like their palettes because of the fallout and stuff, but if you want range and you don't really mind the fallout, Morphe's great, but I do really like this palette for neutrals. Now for my brighter and bolder eyeshadow, I have this Made by Mitchell palette, which is like really bold. It's got pinks, it's got blues, it's got greens. I've actually used a few of these shades, which is very surprising, but you know, that time you're just feeling really excited, you want to experiment, it's good to have a palette like this so you can explore. So I think having two that are very different is a great idea. And just a little extra as well, I think having false lashes in your collection is very important. I personally rarely use them, but I like having them there in case, you know, I'm going out clubbing or something. I always do like a natural false lash anyway, but I think it just adds something to like the finished look. And these Ardell Naked Lashes, they are so like natural and like the perfect lash, I think, if you don't wear lashes and you want to do something to your eyes to make them pop a bit more. These are so pretty. Finally, onto lips. Two lipsticks I think you need is one close to your natural shade. This Clinique one is honestly like the perfect shade for me. It's the shade Tickled. I think that's what it's called. This is like such a beautiful shade. It's really creamy as well. And this YSL one is a red lipstick. As I said, if you don't wear red lipstick, you don't have to buy one. I never wear red, but I think, you know, there might be a one time I use a red, so I need to have it. And I think having a good red is very important. This one is so creamy. The pigment is really nice as well. It's the YSL in the shade 114. I've actually smashed it. Ruined the tip, but yeah, really love this red. It's not a really bright red. I prefer deeper reds than bright reds on my skin tone personally. So yeah, having a neutral or natural shade and a red is like a really good option for me. Then again, the same for a liner. I think a red is really important because red lipsticks you always need to line because it gets kind of messy. These Gucci ones are really lovely actually. This is the shade 4 in the lip liner. And then again, a natural is always good to have. Even with other shades, I think it's good to just line your lip with a natural shade instead of like, you know, no shade because, you know, you just get more structure around your lip, and having a neutral is just like a good in-between with any shade. So yeah, having these two is a good option as well. And then glosses, I think, is always again a fundamental thing to have a clear gloss in your routine, because in any look, you know, if you add a bit of gloss or you don't have a lip balm that is really juicy, a lip gloss is always gonna do the job. This Marc Jacobs is like, this is like my 10th one I think, and it's always like in my routine because it's a lip oil, and lip oils are better than lip glosses actually because they just create a nicer finish for me. But lip gloss is always just as good, but for me personally, comfort wise and look wise, I prefer lip oil. That's why I prefer the Marc Jacobs. And then as well, I would say getting a tinted lip gloss as well is always great. This Honest Beauty one is so good. It's actually a kind of like a lip balm and not a lip gloss because it's got like benefits in there. But this shade is literally, I've got about 4 of these in each bag and it's always one I go for. If not this, then I'd probably choose the Too Faced lip injections because they are so good at creating like a full lip. The tints and the shades are really nice as well. I really love the shade Secure the Bag. So yeah, Too Faced, if not Honest Beauty, those are my 2 go-to glosses or types of glosses I would go for. So yeah guys, that was my capsule collection on what I believe you need in your makeup collection to be able to create any type of look. Again, these are just like foundations. You can kind of just do whatever you want ultimately. But yeah, personally, this is what I would take if this is all I could have. And it is kind of a lot, but it kind of isn't. It's like a good amount, I think. So yeah, let me know what you would take into your capsule collection down below, and I hope you all have a lovely week, and I'll see you again in my next video. Bye.